Hello and welcome to Hycast. My name is Chaos and today we will be examining the parent company of Hypixel Studios. The response regarding this acquisition by Riot has been mostly positive within the community, yet some people have expressed their skepticism and distrust of Riot. In today's video, we are going to take all speculation aside and provide you with the facts and details. Make sure you keep watching until the end to find out all there is to know about Riot Games and their relationship to both Hypixel Studios and the Chinese multinational conglomerate Tencent. So, we are going to start off with a bit of history about Riot. Riot Games was founded in 2006 to develop, publish and support the most player-focused games in the world. It is an American video game developer, publisher and esports tournament organizer based in West Los Angeles, California. In 2009, Riot released their flagship title, League of Legends, which is an extraordinarily successful and popular MOBA game worldwide. As of March 2019, League is reported to have 119 million monthly players, even surpassing Minecraft by about 3 million. With the world in lockdown due to recent events, that number is expected to be even higher now in 2020, further increasing their numbers of players worldwide. In fact, there are very few games that have exceeded this player count, with Roblox, Pokemon Go, Honor of Kings and PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds being the only games able to top it as of the release of this video. Yet one game from that list stands out, and to one you probably have never heard of. We all know what PUBG and Roblox are, but Honor of Kings? I did some research and yep, in 2017 the game had no less than 80 million daily players and 200 unique players monthly. But why is that important? Why am I talking about Honor of Kings? What could this game possibly have to do with Riot Games? Well, the answer is simple. Honor of Kings, or Arena of Valor as it's known in the West, is owned and developed by a Chinese multinational conglomerate, none other than Tencent. So let's cut to the chase and get to why the existence of this game is so crucial in regards to both Riot and Hytale. Tencent owns Riot Games. They do not own 50%, they do not own 70%, they do not own 90%. Tencent owns 100% of the shares at Riot Games. Now this on its own is what sparks a lot of alarm within the community in regards to Riot's acquisition of Hypixel Studios. Tencent are allegedly associated with a large amount of controversial areas, mostly regarding censorship and cooperation with the Communist Party of China. For the purposes of this video, we won't go into much detail, but stating that this relationship is a cause of concern is largely legitimate. However, this isn't the largest concern. Sure, Tencent may act as a puppet or extension of the oppressive Chinese government, there is no denying it. However, in regards to Hytale, Honor of Kings is a bigger problem. Following the success of League of Legends, Tencent demanded that Riot focus their attention on developing a version of the game playable on mobile devices. Riot refused. The reasoning provided for this refusal was simple enough, with Riot stating that the gameplay of League of Legends could not be replicated on smartphones. Unfortunately for them, this wouldn't stop Tencent, and on November 26, 2015, Honor of King was released in China. Several employees working at Riot Games deemed that the design of characters and abilities in Honor of Kings were, and I quote, blatantly ripping off the intellectual property of League of Legends, and reportedly brought these concerns to Tencent. The response they received stated that Tencent would change its own game enough to sell as a standalone product with no relations to League of Legends. Now, if you ask me, that's basically Tencent saying, yes, we may have copied your game, but don't worry, we'll change it later. Worst part is, Riot can't realistically do anything about it. Since Tencent owns Riot Games, pursuing legal action is out of the question. As stated earlier, Tencent owns 100% of Riot, and hence 100% of Riot's intellectual properties, including that of League of Legends. So the question is, Could Tencent do something similar with Hytale? Theoretically, yes. Now before we continue, this all depends on the agreement made between Hypixel Studios and Riot Games, of which we don't know any details. It is entirely possible that there are safeguards built into the agreement. For example, a declaration which grants Noxy or the Hypixel Board of Directors the final say regarding Hytale's IP. Personally, I find it hard to believe that after months of negotiations and other companies desperately at the door, Noxy and Simon would sign off their game to an unfavourable agreement. However, the details are unknown to us, and it is doubtful this will change anytime soon. All we can do is simply assume that the best possible decision was made by Hypixel Studios, and the areas such as monetization are entirely up to them. Either way, a repeat of what happened with League is unlikely, and even if it does occur, well, Hytale for mobile is basically expected to happen. I don't see a plausible scenario where a mobile version of Hytale is out of the question, but even if, the worst that would come of it is a Chinese Hytale copycat, which honestly wouldn't even be the first. Now, moving on just a little bit, Riot Games has been working on their own League mobile game titled League of Legends Wild Drift. What you may not expect is that Tencent has decided to cease development of their copycat version and instead appear to be leaning towards Riot's new mobile game. While it is true that Tencent has been dealing with a decreasing player base alongside pressure from the Chinese government, it is likely that they prefer leaving development to their subsidiaries where possible. After all, since they own 100% of Riot Games, it doesn't really matter who makes a game, they get the money either way. With Tencent out of the way, let's look at what Hypixel Studios and hence Hytale have to gain from this partnership. Back in 2008, Riot angel funded a grand total of $7 million towards Hytale. For a brand new studio that is making their first game, that is huge. In fact, if not for that investment, the trailer may not have even been released or even made, and hence, many of us wouldn't even be here. This cash flow occurred long before the acquisition and before most of us knew about Hytale. To me, this tells us how much Riot cares and how invested they are in the success of Hytale. They saw the potential and were willing to give it what it needed to succeed even before the trailer gained millions of views. Some of you will think one thing: money. Yes, of course, Riot Games would like a return on their investment, although they basically already have with their recent acquisition. The game they invested in has a huge potential player base, and now they own it. Companies don't just fund other companies out of the kindness of their hearts. It's just not how business works, and it's not a bad thing either. Whether Riot Games saw with fat dollar bills or a great potential game doesn't really matter. For them, Hytale needs to perform, so unless they sell their souls and become EA, it remains highly unlikely that they will do anything that will prevent Hytale from performing. On top of that, Riot Games is not a company known for scummy loot boxes or other undesired surprise mechanics that have plagued gaming for the past decade. This further reduces the likelihood of Riot doing something troublesome. It's not their style, they know better, they can actually be considered as a company that's on our side. Now with the official acquisition, things are looking even better for Hytale. Previously, Hypixel Studios had about 40 employees. Now it is hiring 20 additional new ones, an increase of 50%. This, alongside with the opening of an actual physical office in Derry, Londonderry, Northern Ireland, goes to show how beneficial this new partnership will ultimately be. Hypixel Studios was not expecting Hytale to be this big. They were hoping for trailer view counts in the thousands, not tens of millions, and yet here we are. With this vast popularity came ever-rising expectations that would be previously hard, if not impossible to meet. Now they are. A lot of people may not realise this, but it can be considered that Riot, in a way, saved Hytale. Don't get me wrong, Hypixel Studios have a great and talented team, but for what largely can be seen as modders making their first ever game, Hytale and the endless expectations around the Minecraft killer game they have created were a bit too much even for them. Now, mainly thanks to this acquisition, they have the money, they have the advice, and they have access to some of the best and most experienced game developers in the industry. Overall, I expect there to be good things coming from Hytale as a result of this, and the game benefiting in a positive way. To what extent? I don't know, but I cannot agree that the result of this partnership will be negative. Last but not least, we will be briefly discussing Rising Thunder by Radiant Entertainment. As some of you know, Hypixel Studio is not the first company Riot Games has acquired. That spot belongs to Radiant Entertainment. Radiant were working on a free-to-play fighting game named Rising Thunder when they got acquired by Riot Games. Following this acquisition, the game got cancelled and the team was moved onto another project. So let's be clear, Riot Games will not cancel Hytale. Riot has no reason to cancel Hytale. They invested $7 million into Hytale back in 2018 and probably more now in 2020 following the official acquisition. We know that Hypixel is now getting a permanent office and hiring 22 new employees into their studio. That's over an increase of 50%. I'm sure everyone watching this wants Hytale to succeed. We want a great game that we can enjoy for not just the next few months, but for the next decade and beyond. Riot cancelling Hytale right now would hit them hard. Not only would they lose potentially billions of dollars worth of sales and or microtransaction revenue, but their reputation would be severely damaged, which would affect both League of Legends and their brand new title, Valorant. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Tencent intervened and uncancelled the game if this was to occur, but like I said, this scenario is basically impossible. Riot is already invested into the success of Hytale. They saw the potential, they know the skills of the developers, they are going all in for Hytale. So let's look back at what we know. Riot Games is owned by Tencent, a Chinese multinational conglomerate who has been known for making some questionable decisions. Can Tencent affect Hypixel Studios and Hytale? Maybe, but we can't know for sure. Will they try? Most likely not, as there shouldn't be any reason to. Will Riot Games shut down Hypixel Studios? No, Hytale offers too much in terms of profits, players and market share. It would be both economic and reputational suicide for them if they tried. In the end of the day, no real profit-driven organisation is without its flaws, but Hytale is not doomed because of Riot. Quite the contrary. Partnering up with Riot Games was a good call for Hytale, and I expect the game to reach its full potential as a result. Previously, Hytale killing Minecraft was not really realistic, but now, who knows? So, do you agree or disagree? Tell me in the comments below what you think about Riot Games and how they will affect both Hypixel Studios and Hytale. I will be eager to discuss this further with you, so hey, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.